and you can begin to solve every problem you have. And now, from the foundation of human understanding, here is Roy Masters.
Welcome once again to the program. My name is Roy Masters, and I'm going to take our first call from Bob. Are you there, Bob?
Hello?
Bob, are you there?
This is Jim.
Oh, Jim, hold the line then.
Okay.
Because, 1 second.
Okay.
There. Bob, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Roy.
Hi, Bob.
I just wanted to talk about the denial. I thought what you were saying in the last show was very interesting, and it occurred to me that the pop culture supports denial. In other words, that one of the quickest ways you can make money in our society is to figure some way to help people deny the truth about themselves.
Very good. Very well said.
And one example, one unusual example, is the fact that so many of these emotional problems like bulimia and stuff like that are being called disease. Jane Fonda was on the air recently, and she was referring to her bulimic problem as a disease, and that is, along with alcoholism being called a disease, and everything is called a disease.
Yeah, right.
Because it denies responsibility.
Or homosexuals are called normal.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That's another form of denial.
Well, the thing is that really, when you were saying the most terrible wrong you can commit is to deny that wrong is wrong, when you look around the society, there's so many manifestations of that. And even in religion, that whole concept of God loves you the way you are.
That's another form of it.
Which I think has a great truth about it, but it is constantly twisted to be supportive, in other words, to be a method of denial.
No, God loves you, but not as you are.
Yes, right. For example, there's a quote in Romans that says, "Do not love a pretense, but sincerely prefer good to evil." So it seems to me that if you think of love as a preference of good over evil, then certainly whatever condition we're in, God wants us to prefer, wants us to seek good. But that most people interpret that as...
You mean that the good Lord is going to love us for our preferences? I hate that word somehow. I don't know why it keeps...
Well, what I was just thinking, that's always interpreted as that God loves us for what we are. And of course, if we're lost and sinful people, He doesn't love us, He doesn't love us for that. But it's that He, at least as I, feel it, that He wants us to seek Him, to seek what is good. And
God's love has only one face. It doesn't have many faces. And in the sense that His love is the same whether we're good or whether we're bad.
Yes.
But when we're bad, we experience Him differently. And that's what conscience is all about. He's the same. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And so therefore, when we are not right, for instance, if you stole something from me, and it's something you'd never do, but if you did, can you imagine the pain you'd feel, even if I didn't know about it?
Yes.
And the pain you'd feel of ever facing me?
Yes.
Follow that? Yes. Especially if I did know about it, but if I was the kind of God that didn't judge you, you would still feel the pain, wouldn't you, if I didn't hate you for it? You'd feel the pain even more, the guilt would even... As a matter of fact, if somebody hated you for it, it would tend to relieve you of the pain, because I would be judging you for it and letting you off the hook, humanly speaking, right?
For judging me.
Right, I'd be more wrong than you were, because I couldn't be forgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strange process, and I just see that aspect of, and in fact I think that sometime soon in Common Sense Christianity we'll do denial and death, because the two are so connected, it seems to me. Denial is a form of living death.
It is.
That if you deny the truth, you have no possibility of life unless you give that over, unless you come to some realization of what is true and truly repent, and then you're suddenly cast, your world is suddenly cast in a different light, and
exactly.
then you can start to be found.
All the things we're talking about right now, I've dealt with very well in my new book, Beyond the Known. Have you got a copy of it?
Yes, I just got it.
Okay, you read it yet?
Yes. Oh, no, I haven't read it.
But I think you'll like it, because all the things that we were discussing, it's all in there.
I wanted to actually, the real reason I called was to talk about one thing also in connection to this, actually, is that some time ago a born-again guy called in and said that he believed 90% of what you were saying, but that he had a problem with 5%, is that his concept was that you felt that meditation was more important than Jesus. And it seemed to me that he wasn't understanding that, and I wanted to talk more about that, or have you talk more.
No, I haven't. I haven't mentioned that. You mentioned it the other day, but have you finished the thought now?
Well, the thought is just simply this, that what he wasn't understanding is that it seems to me that the meditation has a practical application, which is just simply the analogy that I used is that if you wanted to talk to someone about great and truthful things, if you wanted to talk to them about the truth of Jesus and they were asleep, you'd have to wake them up. And so if you ask a person, the question is, which is more important, talking to them about Jesus or waking them up? Well, certainly talking about the truth and talking about the truth that Jesus represented is the most important thing. But if someone's not awake, if they're caught up in the hypnosis of the world, if they're caught up in how's the Bible put it, but the cares of the world, and they can't hear that truth, that there has to be some way of waking them up. And it seems to me that the simplicity of the meditation is just simply that aspect of waking them up.
Yeah, I guess you could say that because you yourself have experienced that.
Yes, and I felt, I wish I could have talked to that young man.
Well, he's probably still listening.
Yes, I hope so. And it just seemed to me that he was misunderstanding.
But it's so easy to misunderstand. We're all of us so lost.
Yeah.
And we are so grateful for you, Bob, calling.
Well,
because that was really nice, nice addition to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye. And yes, I am grateful. Those are very nice thoughts. And I do appreciate those ideas, those contributions to this program. Okay, now line number what? Did you give me a signal? 5? Okay. No, I'll take line number 3 because it's Hawaii. Hello. We don't get many calls from Hawaii. Are you there?
I called earlier.
Oh, you did?
I was told I was going to wait.
Oh, well, call me back on the program. You've already been on once. Call me back, and I'll talk to you off the program, because you only have some comments to make, and we need something more heavy for the program. Okay?
What time should I call you?
After the program, an hour from now. Okay, line number 4. Line number 5. Hello, this is Roy Master speaking on the air.
Hello, Roy. This is Jim.
Yes, Jim.
Yeah, you had an excellent show, previous 5104.
Okay, good.
My question was on nightmares.
Yes.
I'm really going through a very enlightening emotional experience right now, an awakening, a very great awakening.
Are you meditating?
It's hard to say.
Do you have my materials?
Okay, I've listened to your meditations before.
Yes.
But it seems that the meditations, I don't want to be thinking that I'm a know-it-all or braggart or anything, but it's something that's already been aware of. I just listened to your meditations a couple of times, and I could be meditating all day.
Okay, I can live with it.
Uh-huh.
All right, go ahead.
My question was that I've been having these nightmares for about a year, or maybe a year and a half, every single night practically, and it's a repetitive one. And I have no idea what it is. I can't remember it. All I can remember is a great, it's a great feeling of fear. It's a great feeling of forgetting of something of value, of something that's like life.
Threatening?
Life-threatening. It depends on your soul, on your life.
I'm getting a gist of something here. Go ahead. Well, I would suggest you meditate, though.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because you're sinking too deeply into your sleep. You're sleeping very deeply. And you're using, even though you may be clean in other areas, halfway decent moral person. I hope you are anyway, are you?
I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Yeah, see, I'm suspecting those. I can kind of tell. And so, but still, You are conditioned, or you're finding escape in sleep. Some people find escape in cigarettes, and some people find escape in sex and other things. But as you get cleaner and cleaner, the more natural functions of your body tend to be cultivated unconsciously, without you realizing it, without you having any control, because sin, which has made a home in you, is doing this. Follow? And that's why you need to meditate, to teach you, to help you become more objective before you go to sleep at night. It's very important. Never to let, like, you know what Paul said? Do you read the Bible much?
I used to. I had a problem with that.
I don't want to create the problem again by quoting a scripture.
I'd end up at the hospital sort of thing.
Yes, you did it too much, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, you're looking for something too hard.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you mind if I quote a scripture then? It won't offend you?
No, that won't offend me at all.
Paul said, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Don't give the devil that kind of opportunity. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Anyway, it's in there. So what you need to do is find a way to not let the sun go down on your anger. And meditation at night is a very good thing, because when you sit quietly and you separate your thought, your mind, your conscious, your soul from the emotional whirlpool of your thinking, you can examine whatever might have got in during the day. You can start see where you might have been annoyed or aggravated, where you hadn't noticed it.
I'm doing that constantly. I'm trying. I try not to catch the resentment, that feeling that you described, and your.
But the nightmares are telling me. Excuse me. The nightmares are telling me that you're not succeeded in this.
Well, okay.
And you're struggling here.
Okay, yeah, it's true. I'm struggling. That's what I wanted to kind of elaborate on the nightmares, to give you more information. When I'm awake in the day, I seem to be really enlightened and excited, but keep me from. I'm so excited because I see, and at the same time, I get scared because I see.
All right, too much.
Yeah.
I'm taking the words out of your mouth. Forgive me.
Okay.
I am a teacher, and I've done this for a long time. I can almost anticipate what you're going to say, and I highly recommend you try meditation.
Okay.
Because it will. See, what's happening, you don't know, even though you are enlightened, even though you do see, there's a certain excitement that comes from seeing, which is setting you back. In other words, if I see something which is very beautiful and wonderful, I am very careful not to get excited over it, because I fall away from seeing by becoming emotional again. There's a certain ego element, a certain ego aspect of getting excited over what you see.
Okay,
and falling away from seeing. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are. There are times that I'm very calm and I'm very objective, and then when I see things, the awareness, things that are happening in this calmness, then after a period I get excited about it.
I know.
And burn.
I know, but I don't want you to do, because excitement is an emotion of ego. And it sucks you back into your thinking again. And it produces a very subtle form of guilt.
Right, and that's why you were saying earlier about getting into the sleep heavy. That's why heavily sleep is like a repair mechanism. I get so excited. I have to sleep to repair my brain.
You've got it. It's close to that anyway. Now, maybe you don't need to meditate. Maybe you are in a state of meditation, and maybe you just need to be told that. So I'll tell you what to do.
Okay.
Next time you discover something very beautiful, resist the temptation to take it into yourself by using emotion. Whenever you discover something, be careful not try to remember it in your intellect. Because if you try to remember it, then it belongs to you, and you don't trust that you might see it again. You understand that faith is simply a journey of seeing, and not. If you try to remember what you.
I get excited about you hearing you say that. I mean, because I understand it.
You do.
Yes.
See, because if I remembered everything I understood, which is revelation, and if I relegated it to the arena of my memory, I am not trusting that I will see the same thing again and more. I'm taking the journey stops at that point.
Okay, put it this way.
I'm not a cow chewing cud, in other words.
Put it this way. I get so objective that okay, I have an emotional past. Okay.
I understand.
And I've always been a child of light, seeking the truth since 5.
I understand that too.
Okay. But I've been so objective that...
But you haven't been able to deal with your objectivity.
Right.
You haven't understood. That's why you need a master.
Okay.
A friend.
Right.
I hope I am that friend.
That brings me up onto another point that I wanted you to elaborate on. Unity. I think the foundation needs to unite the people. Need to unite to help, to more than one master have how do you say it? A community.
No, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
No, because a Christian or an enlightened person, if he forms himself in a community of beings too soon, he loses his identity to the community. The enlightened person is a solitary person. Even though he can form himself into a community at an appropriate time, a certain part of his journey, and much of his journey depends on making it alone in the world. In Africa, the Maasai tribe, I think it's the Maasai, when a boy comes of age, they give him some water and a spear, and they send him out in the jungle to kill a lion, and he's not to come back until he brings the lion, the head of the lion or part of the lion's tail or something. You see? In other words, they won't accept him back in the community until he has gone out in the world and done the thing that has made him a man. And we got to be very careful. I've known this for a long time, and that's why you can't join the foundation.
Okay, the only reason why I said that is because
there will be a time. There will be a time when
a lot of people who are crying out for help, and they want some sort of support, not their egotistical support.
No, I do agree. Confirmation of what they've known all along.
Right. Somebody to pat them on the back saying you're doing okay.
But fortunately, we have what we didn't have 2,000 years ago, a radio program. And you know, for the price of a couple of batteries, you can listen to me right where you are. You don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
Okay? So you keep listening.
Oh, definitely.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Now, let's see what we got here. Massachusetts, line number 6. Hello, Bob.
Oh.
Then we'll take Pennsylvania next. Hello.
Yeah, hi. I've got a fistful of problems.
Oh, you do you?
Yeah, and the thing is I've never had any normalcy in my life. I'm 30 years old now, and I've been despondent since the age of 5 over being illegitimate and never knowing my father, his name first or last. And my mother died in 1985 of cancer. And
yeah.
I lived with her cries of loneliness and her bitterness and hurt and pain and resentment.
You want to get cured now?
Well, it just...
How about right now?
And I've got sexual problems.
Oh, you naturally, anytime you have emotional problems, you'll have sex.
Yes, masturbation, specifically since I was 5.
Yeah.
Homosexual, I can even remember when I was 5 when I had that first sexual attraction towards another boy.
Yes. You have your mother's identity.
And, oh yeah.
But you want to get cured right this minute?
Well...
Are you ready for it now? I mean,
I've been trying the meditation, but I can't get off the ground with it.
Well, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for this.
Too many distractions, I guess. Music, smoking, masturbation.
That's right. That's right. In other words, there's such a deep shame in you, right?
Basically, I'm a loner. Just stick to myself. I'm afraid of other men because I guess I never had a father, and I'm afraid of their authority.
Then why are you calling me then?
Well, you're the only person in Christendom I've ever respected. I've left the churches because all I see is hypocrisy.
That's right.
And I really want an answer for my problems because I want to have some entity, living or spiritual, feel like it's talking to me, and I've never had that. I've never had a father figure. It seems like they all just don't want anything to do with me. I've just never had that closeness with another male identity, So I just...
Well, you want something from that they can't give.
Yeah, I know.
And they reject you. They will always reject you.
And I want my life. I want my life back, and I want to be independent and self-reliant. I love where you're coming from.
Now, just give me your first symptom again. You started off saying, I've got this symptom. What was it again?
Well, the most monstrous one, I think, is my homosexuality. I mean, I've had few and far and wide in between sexual experiences with other men, but
what about the lonely? What about something about loneliness?
Oh, yeah, a terrible loneliness over and being despondent over not having a father.
You resent not having a father?
I feel like I've been cursed. Never had any normalcy in my life, no identity.
Yeah, but do you resent not having a father?
I'm sorry?
Do you resent not having a father?
I mean, I don't mean to sound crude, but I think that he was nothing but a common sperm thrower.
Right.
I mean, I hope that you didn't have to bleep it out, but...
But you resent being...
Well, it's definitely anger and hurt, pain, and loneliness, but it's anger is the basic.
So basically, though, it boils down to you resenting being illegitimate and unwanted.
I resent being fatherless.
Yes.
You know, and under these circumstances...
Do you resent God?
Yeah, because even when I meditate, I think I know God exists and I know that Christ exists, but I just don't feel like...
Somehow you're blocked.
It's like I'm saying, you know, God, why the hell did you do this to me? Why do you leave me fatherless? Why did I have such an ill star at, beginnings? Why? And then it's almost like I can hear it confirming it to me. Well, you shouldn't be mad at me. I'm here for you. I'm your father. I want to be your father, but you're putting up a wall. And
yes, and do you know how you're doing it?
I have to meditate laying down. I hope that...
No, but you're carrying on a very nice flow of ideas, and I want to stop you at a certain point.
Yeah.
So that to get you see, do you resent being fatherless?
Yes.
And you resent you think of God in the image of the father that was no good. See, we always mold our idea of God through our father, don't we? That's why you hate God. See, if you hate your father, you can't find God. You never will. I'm trying to make you see something. God is trying to show you something. You may be luckier than most boys that you never had a father, that he wasn't around.
Are you saying that because I could have been abused?
Yeah, you could have been beaten and you could have been murdered.
More traumatized?
I mean, there could have been more trauma than you already have.
Well, I look out into the spectrum of the world and I hear about so much violence by men in the home.
That's right.
We just had a fellow here that murdered his whole family, set the whole house on fire.
You can't believe it. I mean, no father is better than the bad one.
Oh, I know. I guess I just have these high...
So you're really not as bad off as you might have been, but what concerns me is that there's a lesson for you to learn, and I don't know how long it's going to take you to learn it, but I hope not too long. But maybe I can tell it to you so you can ponder on it, and if you do sufficiently, the penny might drop. And this is it, that the Bible says something about that in the commandments. And it says, be honorable to your mother and father. Don't hate. If you have a bad mother and father, obviously the commandments are given, because if you had a good mother and father, you wouldn't need any commandments. But obviously the commandments, for instance, if you're a good person, you wouldn't want to kill or steal, so why would you need a commandment? You see? So if you had a good upbringing and a loving parents who would bring you to the light and were good representatives of what truth is, these commandments wouldn't be necessary. But commandments are necessary for people who something's wrong to them, because we all inherit bad parents. We all inherit bad parents. Very few have good parents, all right? There's very few good parents in the world, and let's not kid ourselves. Now, and so therefore the commandment is for us kids. It says, look, kids, I know you got bad parents. I know they had bad parents, and the grandparents, they weren't much good either, all the way back to original sin. I mean, everybody's lost it. Nobody knows where the hell they're going. So therefore, in order for you to find me, be careful you don't hate your father and your mother. Be respectful even though they're not respectable. That's what it's saying. Careful, don't resent them. And then I will love you. Because if you have a father that's good and you love him, you will find me. But if you have a father that's bad and you don't hate him, you will find me. You've got to forgive your father. He was a lost soul. He had a father that wasn't there for him and screwed him up. You don't know the background of your father. You see, you don't know what kind of horror he came from. He just couldn't help having a sex problem and producing you.
Yeah. Well, I suspect that this whole lineage of the family has had nothing but problems and illegitimate.
But as I listen to your tone of your voice, I'm listening to detect something I might touch inside you, and I didn't hear it touch any ground there.
Well, I was just about to say that finally, after so many years, it feels like you're really talking to me directly. Finally, something, a spirit through you or whatever, it's trying to make its mark at me, and I just...
Would you please do this?
What to do?
I'll give you one more parting shot. You know I can only talk to you so long, right? And I'll give you one more. Would you unstop your ears for one moment and let me say it again and add something more to it? Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you have a good father and you love him, that's good, right? You don't lose your identity. You gain your identity. You become a whole person the way you were meant. If you have a bad father, like most people have, and you don't hate him, you've listened, the pain of hating him has made you need the truth. And here comes the truth. Don't hate him. And beyond don't hate him, beyond not hating him is your life. Beyond not hating him, there is God entering into you and taking your loneliness away and taking your bitterness away and restoring you to light. So the purpose has been fulfilled. See, because everybody has to learn by suffering what's missing in themselves, and this is your way. Right? Suffering usually because they resent their suffering, resent their circumstance. We're all born. We're all
fistful of faith.
Yeah, but we're all born in sin. We're all born in suffering, and we all are scarred by that suffering. We all become bitter because of suffering, and this is your cup of bitterness that you must give up. Now, if you forgive your father, means stop thinking him in terms of revenge, blaming him and hating him for what's going wrong with you. It's your own hate that's making things go wrong with you. It's your own resentment that's setting you apart from God and making you lonely. But on top of that, it's your own hate in setting you apart from God. It's causing your mother's identity to enter into you. Follow that?
Yeah, I mean, I see...
If you reject God...
A lot of my mother in there.
Yeah, but if you reject God by hating your father, you unconsciously are affected by the very thing that took everybody away from God, through the woman. There's not women that's the fault, because it's not your mother is at fault. But the point is, you will experience the identity of your mother if you hate your father. And that's who you'll become. And you'll hate that too. And then you'll die.
If I can give...
Hold the line a minute. Hold the line a minute.
Okay.
Station break, right back.
This is Roy Master speaking. Thank you for listening and supporting this listener-sponsored program. For information for my upcoming visit to Europe, for seminars and discussion groups, please call Mr. Frank Kane at 01-573-4961. The number again is 01-573-4961. Mr. Frank Kane in the UK. Appreciate very much your support of the program. I know I'm a long, long way away, but I know I'm close to your heart and to your thoughts. On with the program.
Welcome once again to the program. Are you still there? What's your first name?
Bob, but that's a nom de guerre.
All right, Bob. Would you do me a favor? Would you repeat? I want to hear you say it, because I think if you just repeat it, and sort of it becomes yours, you'll remember it better rather than me saying it. Somehow I know when I speak of the things I know in my heart, there seems to be, it becomes part of me. So that the more I realize and the more I speak of the things I realize, the more it becomes part of me. It becomes a base to receive even more understanding, you see. So I want you to repeat after me. Okay, would you please? That
I'll do my best.
if you have a good father and you love him,
Yeah.
that's good, right? Let me hear you say it.
If you have a good father and you love him, that's good.
Okay. If you have a bad father and you don't hate him, that's good. No harm will ever come to you. Go ahead.
If you have a bad father and you hate him,
And no, see, you changed it, and you don't hate him.
Oh, and you don't hate it.
You forgive him. You let him go.
In other words, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, that.
The goodness speaks for itself, and the goodness of not hating what's been bad to you speaks for itself.
That's right. You got it. There is goodness that comes from obeying the truth, which is the truth. Surely you've experienced what isn't the truth. You experienced hating your father, and in the experience of hating your father, you've let the bad in. See, and because you are suffered with the sin of the bad in, where did the bad come from? It comes from your mother. See, it's not your father. Your father doesn't produce. Fathers don't produce evils as a rule. The evils come from the mother that the father never loved properly. So it's an Adam and Eve thing. Man, Adam, failed Eve. He used the woman to support his pride. All men do, and blame the women for all the things that go wrong in their life. That is the sin of men, that they tend to use women, abuse women, because they become addicted to the woman. They love them, they hate them. They hate them, but they still need them for their ego support. So they have a terrible problem with women, like your father had a terrible ego problem with your mother. He used her, see, to have sex with her, and because it was a compulsion that all men have, to abuse a woman for the sake of their survival of their ego, the survival of their selfishness, the survival of the irresponsible beast.
Yeah, the line in the movie, did you see that movie, the one with Cher in it, Moonstruck?
No, I never saw it.
The woman kept asking the guy, this guy was a womanizer, he kept chasing her. He says, she asked him, she says, why don't men keep chasing women? She says, I need to hear the answer. And she asked two men, and each one said, I guess they're afraid of death.
Well, I tell you,
It makes them feel alive, right?
you've absolutely, I never heard anyone say it so perfectly.
Yeah, it makes them feel alive.
It makes them feel alive because they are dead. Men are dying, and they're dying. Why? Because they have an ego that's rejected God. And how do they? And whenever you reject God to be an ego, you are dying. And how does a woman figure into this? Well, she helps him. She makes him feel alive by loving him and supporting his death-centered nature. But the thing is, that's what makes him an animal, an irresponsible animal, because all she does with her loving and lying with him is helping him to deny what a swine he is. So now your mother didn't understand that. Your father never understood it. Your mother's all confused. She's full of hate towards your dad for what he did to her or didn't do for her. And
I hope there's hope beyond the grave for her, because she suffered terribly. I lived with her, cries of loneliness.
I doubt very much if there is.
You mean she's probably...
And I don't think there'll be much hope beyond the grave for you if you don't hear what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, that's very distressing.
No, well, I don't want to... See, I'm saying this to you because to make you realize this is stark reality. You've got to choose. You've got to see clearly. You say you're looking for the truth and you don't want to be that way, but there's a price you have to pay. You have to give up pride. And your pride is sustained by your fondling of the women image in your mind. You see, a resentment of your father makes you addicted to mother, to the spirit of the woman. You are addicted for your sense of life.
Well, yeah, this is what I don't understand. It's like when my mother died, all right, and I know this is gonna, go ba-boom, you're gonna know, but when she died, it was like I felt relieved. I only cried 10 minutes 2 days after she died, and I hardly ever think about it.
Well, the wicked witch is dead.
I only hope that God would have mercy on her.
I think that's very nice, but what about your father?
But I never even fantasize about women sexually.
Since then?
It's just a terrible habit.
No, you're fantasizing men, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why you're fantasizing men is because, you see, you have this woman's nature in you. And at the same time, not only do you have this woman's nature.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of like using men as a woman.
Well, you're thinking about men the way a woman thinks about men.
Oh, okay.
At the same time, exactly parallel to that, you're needing a father. There's a part of you that cries out for a father. See, and these two are entangled with each other. These two desires. are entangled with each other. So it becomes a sexual feeling for a man. Got it?
Yeah, because, I'm just tired. I don't want to, I'm tired of this cycle. This isn't me.
Ah.
I mean,
But you have, but you have,
very discreet, but what I fantasize about and what I actually do are two different things. I want to get out of it. It's not me.
But remember this, because you have your mother's identity, you still have the same love-hate for a man.
Yeah.
Follow that?
Yeah.
The sexual guilt, love, hate for a man to do his thing for you. A man, a knight in shining armor, but none of them are. You see, the trouble is they'll all disappoint you.
Yeah, that's true.
See, they'll all disappoint you. Then there'll be more hate towards your father, and the hate and the woman's nature in you will be aroused to resenting the men which you will eventually come in contact with, that will take advantage of your confusion for them.
Well, I'm glad. I think I'm starting to see this now, and I think I'm very lucky because with the age thing going around now, I think that, as I said, I've been very, very discreet, and any experiences that I've had have been far and few and wide in between, but I don't think I ever want to involve myself again physically with somebody else.
All right, but do you understand? You understand all the things I've told you?
Yeah, I just want to find the truth. I'm looking for answers. And
I'll tell you what.
I've been trying to meditate, and I've been thinking about just putting it aside permanently because I don't feel that I'm getting off the ground with it. I can't meditate sitting up because I get nauseated with my eyes closed. If I lay down, I'm all right, but I don't fall asleep.
Anyway, you keep trying it, and maybe you ought to listen to this program. Get a copy. Listen, this program will come around to your area, so either get a tape recorder and copy it and hear yourself again, and hear my answers to you, and maybe the penny will drop. The moment you see it for yourself, the moment the penny drops, you'll be free. Guaranteed.
Okay, can I have the number?
5,105. 5105.
I have noticed that when I meditated that I was waking up periodically during the night, and I used to, I sleep. Is that a sign that maybe I'm becoming more aware?
I tell you, the meditation...
Self-conscious.
I tell you, the meditation is already helping you. Keep doing it.
Good.
Bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. A commercial.
Take a journey of discovery through New Dimensions magazine. New Dimensions will explore the most fascinating realms of life, from the secret workings of the human mind to the hidden causes of human behavior. We will investigate the mysteries of human relationships and explore the best ways to deal with stress. Your journey will continue on into the world of business, where the brightest minds demonstrate that principles of success in business are the same as those in the success of life. As you travel behind the scenes of politics and world events, you will be amazed as you discern the same patterns of behavior between nations as between individuals. Passing through each succeeding destination, education, health, science, sports, entertainment, and many more exciting places, you may feel as though you are somehow viewing the world through fresh new eyes. A subscription to New Dimensions is only $36 a year. That's 12 monthly issues for only $36. And it's so easy to order. Again, 1-800-877-3227. Call now.
Yes, and this month's magazine features the subject of rebellion and conformity. What does it do to you? Well, I could just tell you very briefly that rebellion, an emotional rebellion, is a form of conformity. That you'll never be free. Whether you conform or rebel to intimidation, you'll always become a servant of the beast, or you'll be the beast, causing others to conform and rebel. Read this article. Read several articles on the subject, rebellion and conformity. And the magazine is so beautiful. It's so secular looking, like Life or Newsweek or Insight. They're good-looking magazines that you could confidently pass it from one to another. Okay? Other magazines you couldn't do that with. It was just full of truths, and we just needed a way of presenting our truths in a way that's more acceptable to the public. So jump on board, please. Help us. Your $36 will help us tremendously. Every $36 we get we can put a staff member to work and make the magazine better and better, and eventually perhaps have correspondents in different parts of the world and give you first-hand knowledge, you know, unvarnished truths. Okay? Now what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? Wisconsin. Line number 5. Hello, Wisconsin. What are you doing all the way up there? Do you get my program up there?
WOAI, San Antonio.
Wow. That's nice. What can I do for you?
How about, before I ask the question, you give me an impression of what you think of me?
Oh dear, I don't know. I can't say. You just stumbled a few words. I can't tell you.
I heard you say just a couple of words is all you need.
Well, you know, if you're talking to me about a problem and you start to describe the problem, very often all I need is what you're saying about your problem to give me the clues as to what's wrong.
Okay. Could you explain to me the difference between judgment, discernment, and just seeing something for what it is?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I must conclude that in order for you to know the difference between judgment and even to talk about it, you must somehow know the answer yourself. Do you know the answer?
I do. I believe I do, but I...
You want to bounce it off of me?
I kind of got in an argument with a friend of mine.
Okay. Because you see, very, very few people, they fuse it together. They think judgment and discernment are the same. And some people get so guilty in seeing things as they are and judging it, and not knowing how to discern it without judgment, that they look through rose-colored glasses and pretend it isn't there. They do that with their kids and their friends and anything because they don't want to feel guilty for looking at things.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, now, let's discuss it very simply. All right? Ready?
Okay, you want the situation?
No, I'll just give you the principle and see if it matches.
All right.
Judgment. Well, let's start with discernment. Discernment is the clear, objective way you look through your eyes at an object or person, place or thing without adding resentment to it.
So discernment is main thing is without adding resentment.
Just seeing things without judgment of it. The resentment turns the discernment into a judgment and creates guilt. It puffs you up and makes you like God.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
And causes conflict.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it is sort of like, another way of saying it is wait and see. In other words, a man came out of my house one day carrying my camera. Now, it would, in all intents and purposes, he was stealing my camera. He was a stranger. I walked up to him and said, "Hi, where are you going with that?" He said, "Oh, hello, Mr. Masters. You're Mr. Masters, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." I said, David gave me the key to get his get your camera because we were taking some pictures on the beach." See? If I would have jumped to conclusion, I might have shot him or something, you know. See? Waiting to see, sometimes you've got to be very careful not to instantly, when you see something is wrong, to resent it and therefore pass a conclusion or judgment on it. If you can just reserve your judgment by just watching the wrong, yeah, that looks wrong, but I'll just watch it a little longer.
Yeah.
Got it?
Don't jump to no conclusions.
Don't jump to no conclusions, right. Now, though, eventually, when you watch it long enough, if you're patient with it, you'll see not to judge, and there are other little factors, little light thrown on it will come into play, and eventually you'll see that it is either a fault or a problem, that something definitely is wrong, or it just seems like it was wrong because you didn't have all the information. But when you finally see that it's wrong, you still don't resent it. You can still pass a judgment, which is a righteous judgment. It means, hey, you know, you stole that from me.